Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is 1 p.m. here in Chicago, Illinois. That means it's time for another live stream. Today is Friday, February 11th. Yeah, got it right. February 11th, 2022. Ooh, I just got back from a run. I had another workout today. It was a tough workout, but controlled. I did my mile repeats, or quote unquote mile repeats workout today, 6 times 6 minutes at threshold with 1 minute jog recoveries. I actually tried to jog the recoveries this time instead of walking them like I normally do for this tough workout. And I did some walking, but I did a lot more jogging today. Felt a lot more control during a lot of the repetitions, and overall feeling good. By the time I was done, I was like, I'm glad I'm done. I'm glad I don't have any more reps to do. But I also feel good. I feel like I could go more. I feel like I could do more. But I didn't. I just did my cool down and came home. And I just felt good about it. So I'm here. I've got some afternoon coffee. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Everyone listening on the podcast, hopefully you are having a good one and enjoying some beautiful weather. Because we had some beautiful weather here in Chicago right now. Everything's melting. It's really nice. It's like almost 40 degrees out right now. Pretty good. And the winds weren't too bad. So all in all good. Hopefully you guys are getting some of that goodness too. And everyone watching this on YouTube later, not live, welcome to you guys as well. Hopefully it's the weekend for you now and you are nice and relaxed. All right, let's see who we got here in the chat. We got David Prabhu saying, good afternoon, CoFam. Good to see you again, David. And Louis says, about to get into a business meeting, just stopping by to say hi. Little wave emoji. It says, see ya Monday. Awesome. Well, have a good meeting. We'll see you Monday. Have a good weekend, Luis. Checking Reaction says, afternoon. Greeting from 3 a.m. time zone. Whoa, that's early. I didn't realize it was that early for you. 3 a.m. time zone. Where is the 3 a.m. time zone for you? Where is that? You gotta let me know where that is. Michael Cheng is here. Says, what's going on? Glad to be back. Good to see you again. And Martha gives a nice wave. And then we got Ines saying, hi, Kapuzi and everybody. Justin from Metro in the woods with Pip. Awesome. Is everything melting and wet for you over there, Ines? Because that's how everything is here in Chicago. And I'm like, ooh, I feel like this is the kind of weather that I feel like when I think about like running in England, the UK, Scotland, that kind of winter running, I feel like this kind of like, it's a little bit sloppy out there. I feel like that's probably what it's like. You'll have to let me know. And then Adam says, rocking the Steve Jobs black turtleneck. It's not a black turtleneck. It's the Path Project shirt. It's a hoodie. It just looks like a turtleneck. I don't think I own it. I have mock turtlenecks, but I don't have turtlenecks anymore. Instead, what I do is I go with this like the long sleeve and I wear the neck gaiter. That's kind of like my version. I guess that's like the runner's turtleneck, right? That's what I do. But not today. It just kind of, the way it was sitting, yeah, it looked like a turtleneck. Stevie76 says, yo, what's going on? And Matthew Lillard says, yo, what's going on? Up before 5 on a Saturday, finally making for the start. Oh, man, that's awesome. I feel so honored that you would wake up that early on a Saturday to check in, Matthew. So glad to have you here. All right, let me scroll down, catch up to you guys in the chat. Says, he's got the update on the weather and the running conditions. It's dry around freezing around here. Okay, we've hardly had any snow. Oh, all right. So that must mean you've been able to get out there a lot then with Pip. Pip is the dog pictured in the shirt and tie. And for those of you who don't already know, very cool. Adam says in Denver it was 60s yesterday and winter weather advisory starting at 2 p.m. today. That I guess I get from you, Adam, and from other people that I've seen reporting the changes in the weather. Seems to be pretty normal for you guys over there. And I thought that the weather changed really quickly here in Chicago and in the Midwest generally. I mean, we joke, the joke in Chicago, and I think broadly in the Midwest, is if you don't like the weather, wait a day. And like there's variations on that where people will be like, welcome to the Midwest, where in the springtime you can experience all 4 seasons in one day, that kind of thing. But I feel like Denver, you guys even get more drastic swings than we do. All right. Bryce Blankenfield says, great question. Says, how do you mentally get through runs when it's windy? 25 mile per hour winds and 35 mile per hour gusts in southern Minnesota today. Oh, that's tough. Well, one is I try not to, I look at the wind more closely than I look at the temperatures in the winter. So that way, if I need to move a workout around, that'll be like the deciding factor is the wind. I mean, if it's going to be exceptionally cold, like sub-zero Fahrenheit, then like the temperature makes a difference. But otherwise, in the winter, it's going to be a little bit cold, and I try to schedule my workouts around the wind. If I can't, then I at least try to structure the workout so that the work portions are with the tailwind, because a lot of my runs are out and backs. And that's kind of how I get through it, is like don't try to fight it. Just kind of, I mean, I have to fight it on the way out on the warm up, and then ride the wind on the way back if I can. Or if it's just an easy run, just like, keep the heart rate low. Don't worry about the pace. It's an easy run anyway. And do whatever you can in those winds. 25 to 35 with 35 mile per hour gusts. That's pretty intense though. We had a day like that when we were down in Florida, and I'm glad that day was an easy day, because it was not pleasant. It was really cold too for Florida. Yeah. So hopefully that provides you some tips. Frank says my outfit today is halfway between Zuckerberg and Jobs. That's so funny. I like it. I like that. Not that I aspire to be either of those people, but I think that's pretty funny. Aaron Shimmons says, what's the temperature in Chicago today? It's super sunny and a lovely 50 degrees Fahrenheit in New York City. That sounds great. Here we're about at 40 degrees. So like, it's a weird 40 though, because like the air temp is 40 degrees outside. So everything's melting. Everything's gross and wet. But because we still have like a bunch of snow on the ground, the air coming off the ground as it's melting is super cold. So anytime there's a draft of wind, it just feels like you're getting blast chilled. So it's like, warm, but like there were times where, this is what I ran in today. It's a pretty thin long sleeve, where I was like, oh, when the wind was the headwind, I was like, I don't know if it's going to work out. It's going to work today. I might have to go back. I was like, do I need to go back inside to get more clothes? I wasn't sure, but otherwise it was pretty nice. Affluent Journey says, made it 7 miles today without stopping. Awesome. We'll do a little cowbell for that. Because it's his longest run since December 18th, because he's been having that lingering meniscus problem. So glad to hear that. Hopefully it's not bothering you today afterwards. And, let's see how it is tomorrow. Hopefully you're still feeling well tomorrow as well. All right. Runner Dre says, hi, all. Happy Friday. What's going on, Runner Dre? And it says, Mike, we need to see you in a Howard Wolowitz turtleneck one live stream. I don't have any turtlenecks, so that's the thing. I can't do it. Daniel M wants to know, Cody, did you decide whether or not to go to the Wisconsin indoor event in Chicago tonight? I'm just not gonna go. I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna regret it tomorrow once I see, and like tonight once I see like the coverage of it, and I'm sure it's gonna be super fun. But I don't know. I'm just being lazy. I'm not gonna go. Greg said he wasn't going either. So Greg Tahara, I messaged him yesterday afterwards. So I'm like, if someone else was gonna go, I would have gone. But I was like, I don't want to go. It just felt like a lot of work. So I was like, I think I'd rather stay in, play some card games with my kids tonight. Friday night, we like to do games on the weekends, Maybe that's being lame, but that's kind of what I picked. I think that I'm going to have a lot of travel this year, so I'm going to try to take advantage of the weekends when I can. So yeah, I'm sure I'm going to regret it tomorrow, but that's what I'm going to do right now. All right. Michael Ching says, am I a fan of the Sweat Elite videos? I love those Sweat Elite videos. My favorites are when the workouts don't go well. That's the best. Like to see how like the athletes respond to it, or when the coach tinkers the workout on the fly. Sometimes that happens too. Like those are my favorites. I forget who I was watching. It was a workout of a Canadian 10K runner, and she was doing a workout getting ready for a half marathon coming up, or maybe it already happened. I don't know. And she was going to do 5K repeats at half marathon pace, and like some of them didn't go well. And so like they were talking about like that kind of stuff. I love getting that kind of insight. And then I listened to the Sweat Elite podcast. They did like a year-end wrap-up podcast. And, I would have thought that like, someone that does what they do is they go and they have bikes and cameras, and they film people doing their big, big workouts and stuff. I would think that like coaches would be and athletes would be like lining up to have people do that. But I got the sense from them that like there's a lot of um hubris that goes along with a lot of those workouts, and like the athletes don't want to be filmed unless they know they're going to nail like a monster workout. And so like which I think is silly, but I guess I understand it. It felt very much like some of these pro athletes are kind of like boxers in a way, where it's like, they want to have an undefeated record. And so like they won't take matches that they don't think that they could totally win. That kind of thing, like picking and choosing, cherry picking in a way. So like when there are people that are like, yeah, just come to the workout. It might go great, it might not, but like, we're happy to have you come and film us and, put some content out for us. Um, those are the ones that I like the most. So I don't watch every single one. Um, I probably watch one out of every 4 or 5, but when I do watch them, I'm usually washing the dishes, cleaning up after dinner, and kind of have it on in the background. And like, there's no music to it ever, which I think is an interesting choice. Um, but like the rhythm of it is just really hypnotic usually. So I like that. Terrence, who's here, says, and made it. Hello, co-fam. What's going on, Terrence? See Shannon's in here too. Hi, Shannon. How are you? All right. Jason Dahl's here. Good to see Jason as well. Running in Pizza says, do you think Hawker and Tira will get the record tonight? I don't know. I would, I'd if I were to put my money on one of them, I would put it on Cole Hawker. But I don't know. What was funny is like Let's Run interviewed both of them after the Millrose games, and that's when they talked about like, they were going to do this record. I think it was Let's Run. I don't think it was Flow Trick. I think it was Let's Run. And they were like, well, how does this year compare to where you guys were last year? And I think it was like Cole Hawker was like, yeah, we're pretty much at the same point we are this year. We just need like a good day, and we totally think we could have the record. And then they interviewed like separately Cooper Tier, and they're like, how do you think you guys are, the two of you guys are this year compared to last year? And Cooper Tier is like, oh, I think we're like head and shoulders way above where we were last year. So we totally are going to have the record. So they're both feeling really confident about it, but just in different ways. And it was pretty interesting to see that. I don't know if that's maybe just kind of an example of the difference in the two personalities. I do think that they are like, on the one hand, it's very easy to be like, they're both fast runners, pretty clean cut kids that ran for Oregon. And that they're very similar, but I think that they're like an odd couple. So I love watching the two of them together. I think it's pretty fun. All right, Chris Dyke says, happy Friday, folks. You got a half marathon on Sunday. Cool. Very cool. It's exciting. You'll have to let us know how it goes on Monday. Lauren Wilson says, running Fuel Peak today. Lucho Delitos. What is that? Anyone's tried them? Great taste, texture, and packing? I don't know anything about that. CV76 says, come on, Cole, let's go out on Friday night. Don't be a square. No, I don't go out on Friday nights. I'm pretty lame. I was listening to the Ali on the Run show today. She's doing like her Love on the Run series she does, are all like leading up to Valentine's Day. And today's podcast was about Annie Frisbee and Drew Patel. They're both on Minnesota Distance Elite. They're dating. And Drew apparently went out the night before the New York City Marathon, and I was out at the bars until like 2 a.m, and then came back to the hotel where Annie Frisbee was like trying to get rest and get ready for, a big marathon in the morning. And Ali Feller was just like, I haven't seen 2 o'clock in the morning in such a long time. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty useless. I'm pretty uninteresting. My favorite way, if it's a celebratory day, that's why I love post-race beers, because my favorite way of celebrating and indulging in potent potables, if you want to put it that way, is like day drinking. I enjoy like just getting out there in the sunshine, having a couple beverages, spending time with friends, and then like eating an early dinner and going to bed. it's not really something. It's a real luxury now with kids. You don't really get to do that anymore. But when I have a chance to do that, that's kind of my favorite way to spend like a Saturday. Going out on a Friday night just seems like it's so much work. And not that like going to a track meet, indoor track meet, and Friday night is like a big going out type of thing, but mentally it takes the same energy for me. So that's what it is. Chris Dyke saying, love to see Sweat Elite showcasing the Canadian based in Vancouver elites lately. I'll be running with them way behind in this weekend's race. Very cool. Is that where she's going to be running? Is that what the half marathon was that she was preparing for? I didn't realize that. I didn't know what race was coming up that she was getting ready for. But like once I turned it on, I was like, oh, 3 times 5K. Was it 3 times or 4 times 5K at, I think it was 3 times 5K at half marathon pace. I'm like, oh, that sounds like a fun half marathon training workout. Nice and simple, lots of volume, pace specific work. I like it. And I think the week before they did like a 3 times 4K, and she was like, I like the 4K much better. Michael Jang says, Sweat Elite collab coming soon? No, I don't think so. No, because they barely even put on themselves. And the guy is like a 220 something marathoner, like a 225 marathoner. So, I mean, he's no slouch. He's like filmed himself or had himself be the subject of it, I think, one time. So I'm like, yeah, the people that they have on there are like world record holders, professional runners, they're not going to put me on there. I think that the closest thing that I'd ever get to that is if Jamie and I put together like a parody video of like a Sweat Elite parody video. Or what was it? Was it Flow Track that used to do Workout Wednesdays? Yeah. That's like the closest thing that I would ever do. I would never be on Sweat Elite. I mean, I've been thinking I'd love to get him on to do an interview. So like I interviewed Sydney Gidibudai. Like I'm trying to interview people more regularly, get good at it. And I think the real folks, like there's 2 areas that I'd like to focus on for the people that I'm interviewing. One is I think people who are in that unsigned phase, people that should be pro, like they're not pros, but should have like a major title sponsor, but don't. And like those are the people that I want to spotlight and talk to, and maybe people that haven't quite been interviewed like a million times. Like that is one. And the other would be people that are in this like running creator space. So like those are the other kinds of people that I want to like. So those are the 2 main types of people that I'd like to interview more. And so, yeah, I mean that I think that would be like the only way. There's no way that I'd get filmed. People would tune in and be like so mad. They'd be like, "What is this?" They would be smashing that dislike button. That'd be pretty funny. Daniel M thinks that Cooper Teare is going to beat Cole Hocker tonight. You think so? I mean, that'd be pretty amazing. But I just think that, the way that Hocker puts it is that Cooper Teare is better in the longer stuff and he feels stronger in the shorter stuff. And I tend to believe him on that. Cooper edged him out by a little bit in that 3,000 at the Millrose Games. So I think that, that'll be the time now for Cole Hocker to do it. Plus he's shorter and it's an indoor track still. So they say it's better advantage short guys. So those are the 2 reasons why I'm going to go with Cole Hocker on it for the mile. Adam says, did you see where Kerr dissed U.S. distance runners at soft? I didn't see that. I did not. I missed that. All right, Brendan. What's going on? Brendan says, I ordered some new Hoka slides. They just arrived. I ordered a 10 women's, 8 men's instead of 8 women's, 10 men's major fail. Oh, that's funny. Do people, I guess this is an open question. When you guys order slides, do you go with your running shoe size? Even because like if I were to order a Hoka slide, I would be like, oh, I always order size 9 in Hokas. I think I'd probably size down to an 8. I always have to size down when I go to slides, just because like your running shoe size is different than kind of like your regular shoe size. So with flip-flops, flippy floppies, and slides, I always have to size down by a lot. Lauren Wilson giving us some more info on what she's eating. They are Colombian bocadillos made from guava paste, individually wrapped in a natural and biodegradable dried leaf. They're vegan too. Oh, that sounds delicious. That sounds really good. I want that. I'm just really hungry. I'm just insatiably hungry. Everything sounds delicious. I just ordered a bunch of food to try for a mukbang too, and I was like, I want that. I want that. I want that. I want that. I guess that's a good time to be ordering food for potential mukbangs that are coming up. Yesterday on Twitter, Jason Fitzgerald, Strength Running Podcast and Strength Running on YouTube, was like, hey, I've got time this afternoon. Anyone got questions? So I put in a question. I was like, do you ever get any specific weird cravings when you're in like a high mileage phase, like deep into a marathon training block or in like a base building phase where you're just running a lot of miles? Like, is there anything weird you crave? He's like, nothing specific. I just want to eat everything. And I'm like, yeah, totally. And then I thought about some more. I also, when I'm like heavy training, like right now, in the evenings, I'm just in prowl mode. Like after dinner, after the dishes done, kitchen's clean, I'm in prowl mode. I'm like, I want to go eat everything that I can find. And usually what I end up snacking on a bunch is chips, like something not only just salty, but crunchy. I need something crunchy. And if it has some sort of powdered cheese on it, then that's always a plus. Like tortilla chips, pretzels, they don't do it for me when I'm in snack mode. But if it's like, if we have chips in the house, I'll be eating them. That's what happens to me. About the slides, where'd it go? Brendan said, oh no. Yeah, I thought he was talking more about the slides, but he says, I don't go out either. Lamies unite. I'm the most boring 27-year-old known to man. Bed by 10. I'm Nick loving it. Oh man, bed by 10. You know what I've been doing? This week I haven't posted as many videos. And it was because I've been really tired with the marathon training, and then like adding another 2 weeks to my training block to go from Tokyo to LA. We're switching it up. And I was like, I need to sleep more. And so on workout days, I haven't been planning on having a video, so that way I could sleep in the morning till about like 5:30 or 6 rather than my normal 4 or 4:30. And that's made a big difference, I think. So yeah, going to bed is great. I never used to be. It's old habits are real hard to break. I'm still very much in the sleep is a waste of time mentality. That's my gut. That's my like default. And I'm starting to like, make myself do it more. But I've been enjoying it lately. I just feel like I'm so not productive when I sleep in. But Runner J says, the Love on the Run series has been fun from Allie on the Run. Yeah. The Natalie and Gerald episode was amazing. Had me laughing so much. Yeah. I mean, I usually don't I wasn't in the mood to listen to them right away. Like this week, normally I'm like, yeah, give them to me, like load them up. I'm glad there's one every day. But this week I was like, I don't know. But then this one with Annie Frisbee and Drew Patel, I was like, oh, I like both of them. Minnesota Distance Elite has a YouTube channel. I don't know if you guys know. I'm like the only person that comments on the videos. But like, yeah. So that's how I know who Drew Patel was before he was on the podcast. But they're a cute couple. And they're like both, Annie Frisbee and Dakota Lindworm from that team. They're just, I want to say they came out of nowhere, but they didn't. They've been around and they've been working hard. But like, getting more content about those two athletes, I think is great. So today I was like, yeah, I want to listen to that. But then I lost my earbuds. I found them, but I couldn't find them at all this morning. And so I was going to, for my warm up and cool down, I was going to listen to that. I started listening to it as I was doing my mobility work. And then I was going to listen to the rest of it on the run and then switch over to music during the workout part. But I had to listen to the sound of my own breathing for the run, which actually ended up being good. So might have to change that. But I did want to finish. I haven't finished it yet, but I did want to finish it. Jonathan Crossy says, my kids were in bed and snoring by 8 p.m. last night, and it was one of the highlights of my week. That is, I mean, that's a cowbell. That is a victory. Kids in bed by 8. That's amazing. My running buddy, his kids have always been so good at going to bed. Like there'd be times when we'd be over, like, and I'd bring my kids over, and we'd be all hanging out, and then all of a sudden, like he'd be like, "All right, kids, bedtime," and they would just stop playing and just like start getting ready for bed. And my kids were like still playing with all their toys and stuff, and they were like, "See you guys later," and they were like, "Good night, guys." And we're like, "What's happening? Your kids would just go to bed when you tell them to?" And they're like, "Yeah, they're pretty much on a good routine." And I'm like, "That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. I don't know how you did that." So like, I'm always amazed when other people's kids go to bed early. My kids are not great at that. I did not have a very structured bedtime growing up, so it's like hard for me to like do that. Jason Dahl says, now that I'm in my 30s, anything past 10 p.m. sounds like a terrible idea. everyone here, you're all in the right place. Let me tell you what. I love you guys. This is great. I feel like I'm with my people here. Terry Farrelling says, my kids are all grown up, which is, he has a sad face. Meeting my eldest for breakfast tomorrow. I bet dad still has to pay. Don't you like still having to pay though? See, I feel like, oh man, every time I watch Bluey, like that show makes me so sad, or like nostalgic, like wispy. Is that the right word? Nostalgic in a way. And there was an episode where what's the mom's name? Bandit is the dad. Yeah, I always forget the mom's name. But she was going to check in on her dad and stuff. And it was a really great episode, really fun. Then you got to see like grandpa playing with the grandkids on the show Bluey, which is about Australian healers, about dogs. Anyway, and so like that show always makes me feel like, oh, I'm gonna be an old man soon. I'm like, I feel like an old man now, but like my kids are gonna grow up fast. And then I'll like, do you want to meet up for breakfast? Do you still like pancakes for breakfast? And I'd be like, no, I'll pay. Because like my parents always do that. They're like, no, we're gonna pay. I'm like, Dad, you came all the way to Chicago to visit. I'm gonna get breakfast. He's like, no. So I'm like, okay, all right. Daniel says, I saw Jamie in a Hoka commercial on TikTok the other day. I don't think I saw that. I know I saw Jamie in a lot of stuff lately, but I don't know if I saw that on TikTok, in a commercial on TikTok. He did a Hoka takeover. He took over like the social for a little while on Instagram. And then, yeah, he's just been, he just like shows up every once in a while. And it's fun. Martha says it's a brilliant idea to do a parody video with Jamie. Yeah, I'm gonna message him after this. I'm like, we gotta do a parody video. Yeah. Well, I mean, it'll be funny because then we could do it like, it'll be like a little bit of me and Jamie, and then of course we'll have to throw like some serious runner type action in there and be like, don't put that one in. I didn't look fast enough. Like I'll do the workout and then we'll take some B-roll of me doing strides, but it will say that it's my marathon pace. So it'll be fun. It'll have to be fun stuff like that. Running and pizza says, I love the coaches that won't let Sweat Elite film the training because it's a big secret. No one will ever know. They do a long run, easy runs, tempo, and on track day. I know. I mean, like, what are the secrets? No, I mean, that always makes me very concerned too, because I'm like, well, if they're worried about even, I mean, like at the base level of it all is like, at worst, it's like, well, what are they hiding, right? What are they? For me, it's a position of insecurity, right? They're like, oh, I don't want to see if we're gonna have a bad day. I don't want you to show that to our competition, like that kind of thing. I feel like, I don't know. That's like a position of, that's weakness talking to me, is that, right? What could be even more nefarious is like, well, maybe they're doing something else that they really don't want people to see. But then like on the other hand, it's like, I don't know. I feel like you're really missing out. Look at even Coach Ron Warhurst. He's not a young coach anymore by any means, but I think even he understands the value of social media, right? He doesn't have to get it. He doesn't have to like it, but he has to understand, and he understands that it's valuable to his athletes and their professional careers to have that kind of exposure, right? And I just feel like, I don't know. I mean, I feel like if you're Chalimo and you're like, look, there was a video of me doing a workout that has 1 million views on YouTube. I think you can walk up to any sponsor and be like, look, people pay attention to what I do. Right. So like, I just think it's a real, like, it makes very little sense to me. And I don't know, maybe there's something else there. Maybe there's an angle I'm not seeing. Maybe the coaches are like, it's too much distraction. It's going to interfere with the workout, but then like, then just shut it down if it becomes an interference and be like, that's it. And just be clear with that. Like, work out first. If this camera gets in the way of the workout, we're done. And there's not going to be any discussion. Are we cool with that? Good. Then you can come. I mean, like, that's that simple. I don't know. That's what I feel like. Aaron says, Shimon says about the slides, I have the Hoka slides in my running size, but I wish I sized up for swollen post ultra feet. Ooh, that's a good point. That's a good point. So maybe I should go with my regular size. Because anytime I order slides, my usual running shoe size is an 8. I go with an 8.5 or your running shoe size is 9. I go with an 8.5 or even an 8 on a lot of the slides. Bryce says, I wear a size 10 for every shoe, running casual slides and slippers. Brendan goes half size down in the slides. Yeah. See? Terry says slides, I can't keep them on. Most annoying footwear ever. So then do you go with the thong? Is that what you use? Rob Varys Brown says the Hoka slides are true to size. That's interesting. And Shake Johnson says the Aura by Hoka is my favorite slide by far. I've still never tried it. I don't know what it was, and no one told me about it. I guess I should ask. When I was at the Hoka booth at TRE, they had a slide that like almost looked like a Birkenstock kind of thing. I don't know if it's a casual. I mean, it's a slide, so it's not like it's a perform. I guess there is a such thing as performance slide by Teva, which is a sister brand to Hoka. But I want that one that looks not that it looks like a Birkenstock, but it has that kind of over the foot kind of like 2 bands that go across thing. And I want that. That's the one I want. And I'll probably order that in a size 8, maybe an 8.5. I'm definitely going to size down. Yeah, Chris Dice says, I'm glad I tried on the UFO slides in store. The shoes, he goes with 10.5, and then slides are 9. Well, that's a big drop. Whew. All right, let me scroll down. I'm way behind you guys. I've been just ranting. And it says a thong is quite a different thing in the UK. Well, when I say thong, I think of something very different in the United States as well. But like, I mean, I don't know how else to call other than calling it a flip flop or a flippy floppy, like if you're on a boat, Shannon, to differentiate between slides and the other kind with the part that has a little thing in between your big toe and the rest of your toes. Yeah, I don't know how else to describe it. That's the word for it, right? Now, How to Dead NZ. I don't know if you guys watch that guy's YouTube account. He called him something else. I can't remember what he called him. But yeah. Chris X says, Coach Ron was hilarious on the latest Very Nice Track Club bid. He was great. I mean, I feel like he's getting comfortable with that camera around, and we're starting to get to see the real Coach Ron, and I think it's amazing. I love that guy. The guy has a sweet tooth, and I feel like he needs his own mukbang channel, and I wrote that on the in the comments. Today, for the last one, he was ranting about this hot dog that they need to get when they go to, what was the track? It was the New Balance indoor meet, the one in Staten Island. He's like, we gotta get these hot dogs. They deep brine until they split, and they're super delicious. And then like later on, they were there eating them, and he's like, see, I told you guys, it was a really good hot dog. And it's just super funny. And I don't know why, but they had him directing like the directions for the car, like in the car, he was sitting shotgun. I don't know why they didn't just pull up the directions to the meet on the phone, but they were having him direct. I guess he probably said like, I know how to get there, but apparently he hadn't been there in several decades. So he's like, I think this is the way to go. I don't know. It was probably one of my favorite Very Nice Track Club videos. It was really funny. Really, really funny. Matthew Lauder says, as an Aussie, I'm so proud to hear an American using thong properly. Yeah. I mean, that's the word. That's what they're called. Runner Dre says, aren't they just flip flops? Yeah, they're. I mean, that's like what I call them, and that's what I've always called them. But I've called all sandals flip flops before. Like I didn't have two words for them before. It wasn't until I became like an adult that I was like, oh, there's different words for them. So there's the slide, which is just a one big piece over all the toes, and there's the thong that has the post in the middle. So yeah, Adam says flip flops are politicians. And Another Day says I prefer slides. I like to wear them sometimes with socks. The older I get, the more I'm like, yeah, this works. This is okay. Like when I was younger, I was like, no, you can't do that. Now I'm like, who's looking? That's pretty funny. Yeah, Brain Runner says, I have the Aura, but I have to say I don't love it as much as I hoped. I'm a big OOFOS fan. I've never had the Aura. I love the OOFOS. I have a pair of Crocs slides right now. Those are actually really comfortable, and I've been enjoying those. I think it's like all EVA. So it's nice. And I did size down on that one. I don't remember if it's an 8 or an 8.5. But that one's been working out really well for me. I think I'm going to, I don't know. OOFOS makes a wide variety of products now. And I don't like, sometimes I'm like, can I rock that? Can I do that? Is that good or is that bad? I don't know. And I'm like, should I try it? We'll see. Maybe. I don't know. So I'm always ever like, I don't know how to really approach that. I'm just never sure. And the thing is, like, I don't like to have a lot of like casual shoes around just because I have so many other shoes. It's just like I can't deal with any more shoes. I'm full on running shoes, so I don't have space for like casual stuff. Matthew Larder wants to know, Code, do you think the Saucony will keep the Endorphin Pro 3 firm, or will they fold and just go squishy? I think they're going to keep it firm. I was talking to, I've told you guys this story. I was at the Saucony party at TRE, and I saw Sam from Road Trail Run, and I went to go talk to him, and he was talking to someone that had like a Saucony like pullover on, and I later found out that he's like a VP of something, so someone pretty high up. And he was like, "Did you get to see?" He's just making conversation. I don't think he knew who I was. He was just making conversation. He's like, "Did you just see some of the product?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm really excited. That Endorphin Pro 3 looks great. I'm hoping it finally is a shoe that I can run a marathon in." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "It's too firm for me to run a marathon. I can only run a half marathon in it. I love it for training for marathon. I love it for marathon workouts, runs that might be 15, 17 miles total. But, if I'm doing marathon pace, I don't think I can go 26. And he's like, I'm hoping the 3 lets me do that. And he goes, I think you're going to be surprised. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised. I think you're going to like it. It was like really like soft. So I was like, okay, I think it's going to be more of the same. So yeah, we'll see. I mean, I've been getting stronger, and I feel like I can take that Endorphin Pro 2 further and further. So I'm like, maybe my feet are, I've been really working on my feet and my knees. So I'm hoping like maybe they'll get stronger. We'll see. Maybe I'll be able to handle it this year. Looks like my mom's here. Hi, Mom. How are you? Glad that you found it. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, CV76 says, "Mom's in the house. Watch your thong talk." That's funny. Adam says, "Do you know if there's a new Magic Speed in the offing?" I don't know. I haven't heard anything about it. I've only heard from ASICS about their Legend products so far. So like I know what's happening with the Nimbus and the Cumulus. I don't know about like Nova Blast. I don't know about Magic Speed. I know there is going to be another Metaspeed Sky. I don't know anything about it other than there's going to be one. So like I haven't seen either of those two. And I think there's other things that I do know that I don't know if I can say. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say it yet. But other things, but I can say that I don't know anything about the Magic Speed, one way or the other. I'm not saying that I have information that I can't give. I don't have information on that one. And Martha says the Endorphin Speed has turned out to be the marathon shoe for those of us who wanted less firm than the Pro. Yeah, you know what though? I ran in the Endorphin Speed for my last long run workout. It was like 14 or 15 miles total, and it was about, I think it was right around 15, maybe it was 16, and with 10 miles at marathon pace in it. And my feet were not happy at the end of that run. Now, right now, my feet are like just generally unhappy. I think I've been spending too much time in that on Cloud Stratus, and I think that's been kind of like messing me up a little bit. It's just too firm. And then, so I'm gonna chalk it up to that. But like my last experience with it during the run was great, but afterwards I was like, oh, my feet hurt. So I'm like, oh, I don't know what's going on here. I'm liking the Pro more for longer runs, and I'm liking the Speed less. It doesn't make much sense. Jonathan Crossley wants to know if anyone's looking forward to trying the Ultra Carbon shoe. I definitely am. I want to try both of them, the T and the R. I mean, I feel like I think I've said, I feel like I end up saying this like every other live stream, but like it did well in Houston. So Frank the Tank, had a good 2:11 marathon in them, and then Callum Neff, who paced Kira D'Amato, also ran in them. So like that's a solid showing. That's a really good day for Ultra. Stevie says, you can trust us. We won't tell anyone. Yeah. I trust you guys. I know that. Andrew, what's going on? Andrew says, that's a bummer. The Endorphin Speed is the best. Yeah, I'm not going to, I think the shoe is fine. I think that's more me, not the shoe. That's why I haven't like mentioned it like in the other videos that I made about that day. Because I just think that that's something that's going on with my feet. But you know what? I'm really looking forward to kind of being done with that on Cloud Stratus. I think I'm at like 70 miles in it. I'm hoping I'm at 80 miles in it. I just don't want to run in it that much anymore. If I were at like 50 miles in it or 40, I would be like, I'm done. I'm not going to run this anymore. But I'm like, I'm getting pretty close. I can handle a few more runs in it. I really want it to be good. I really want it to like break in, but like so far it hasn't. iPod Touch Superfan says, should I get a physical before running after a break? I mean, I think that's what they say, like on TV all the time. Like, before you start this plan, please consult your physician and all that kind of stuff. So I will say yes for those similar types of reasons. But I think practically speaking, from a non-medical provider's perspective, I would say it depends on the nature of the break and like how long it was, why you had a break, that kind of thing. And what like your level of fitness is like right now. So the answer is maybe, and it'll depend more on like the individual details of your situation. Daniel M says, Ko is like, why are so many people discussing Western European geography in the comments? Yeah, I've been seeing you guys talk about Wales and stuff, and I'm a little bit, it gets over my head, I think. I'm so bad at geography. I forget what I was watching. I think I saw like a thumbnail from a website that was like for a video that was like, you know, most Americans don't know where this is on a map, and it was like a picture of a country. One was highlighted in red, and there was an arrow pointing to it. I'm seeing so many arrows in thumbnails lately. It seems to be the key. But anyway, I'm like, I can't name that country. It was like east of the Arabian Peninsula. So I'm like, I don't know. I really don't know what that is. And I was like, but I'm terrible at geography. And I've been using it as like my excuse, being that I grew up in the New Jersey public school system. We don't know anything that's east of Maine or west of Pennsylvania, which is, I think, mostly true, or that's true for me. I have a really hard time with geography. And also maps and navigation, lots of things like that. But I'm guessing that there's probably lots of other people that went to public school in New Jersey that are really good at those things. So I don't think I can really blame that anymore. So yeah, but whenever there's geography talk, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm only just barely like figuring out that there are some places in the country that have elevation other than like Denver. So I'm slowly coming around to it. Shake Johnson, what's going on? Says, I just got my pair of the Atreyu Artist, and I'm very surprised. They're so comfortable soft, but just firm enough in the front. It's a good shoe. I like it as a trainer. I think a lot of people can also race in it too. Although the one that I had was not a final production version, so I think the final one is a little bit different. I should reach out to Mike. I want to see when that trail shoe is coming out. And I gotta figure out. I got some trail shoes coming in, and I gotta figure out some ways to make the reviews of those shoes a little bit more fun and try to do some collabs. I think I don't want to do them in my like usual spots. I might end up doing some of them in Iowa. I think the timing will work out well, and then for some of them, I'd like to go a little bit bigger, do something a little bit different than just the normal kind of review that I normally do. Yeah, so I got some ideas, and so maybe I could do one if I can bring the Atreyu Artist around too. I think that'll be fun. Chris Tech says, I'm very happy the fun shoes, in air quotes, fun shoes aren't coming out till mid-year. I really need to get through my current rotation. That's what a lot of this part of the year is for me too. I'm like, all right, putting some miles the Endorphin Pro 2 and the Endorphin Speed 2. Finishing out the Adios Pro 2. I think I have one more run in them and then I'll be done. At least some 100 miles for me. And then I got the Primax, which I'm kind of saving those because I think I'm going to want to run in those and compare them to some of the other big shoes that are coming out later this year, like tall ones. But yeah, I'm like, oh, I finally got some time. I'm going to run in the SL20 a little bit more. I'm going to run in the Flow Velocity Wind a little bit more. So like, it means like later part of this year is going to be really, really busy. But for now, I'm like, I'm okay with it. I like it. Getting some time. It's good. Kit wants to know, is there a lot of difference in the firmness between the Endorphin Pro and Speed? I would say yes. I don't know if it's just the fact that the plates are different. One is nylon, I think nylon TPU in the Speed, and then carbon in the Endorphin Pro. They're certainly different in rigidity, but I also feel like there's a difference in the density of the foam in the Pro and the Speed. At least that's what it feels like to me. So I would say yes, that there is a lot of difference between those two. I mean, the shape of the shoes is very similar. The geometries are similar. But in terms of like what it feels like with each step, I do think that's pretty different. Luke Klein says, ha, New Jersey public school. Yeah. I mean, I also moved around a lot. So like I feel like there are certain things that like everyone else learned that like because of the way I like bounced around a couple of schools. I feel like one school district did it in the 3rd grade, another one did it in the 4th, and like I just missed it, going from one school to another. Certain things like that. I can't give you any concrete examples, but that was something that I was certain of. I'm like, that's why I don't know these things. It's because I went to a bunch of different schools. Chris says about geography and navigation. Chris says it's safe to say you're the coach Ron of my family when it comes to navigation. I'd say I would completely agree with that. Yeah. Jason says, I learned geography from the show Where in the World was Carmen Sandiego? Yeah, I never watched that. I never watched that show. I should have watched it. Did you know that there's a remake out right now? And it's really good. It's a cartoon. I think it's only on Netflix, but my daughters have been watching it and it's really good. It's super fun. It's more, I mean, I guess it was always a spy show, but it's like they play that angle up a little bit more. It's fun. Thomasville says, you should do a trail shoe review in the mall. It'd be like seeing a Hummer at the supermarket. Yeah, I mean, that would stink for me though. I don't want to run in a mall. You know what I think would be fun would be to do like that'd be a great place to do like a steeplechase race. Or like an indoor track meet in a mall. That kind of thing I think would be fun. Recycle on Wednesday says, I bookmark a map website and look up countries whenever I read a news item about them. That's a good idea. Problem is, I don't read that much news. I get most of my news from TV, primarily from The Daily Show, and then CNN. Those are my two. So, I mean, I think you guys probably already knew that. Thomas wants to know where about in the Garden State am I from? Well, we originally lived in Middlesex County. My dad went to Drew University as a grad student, so we lived there in that area for a long time. And then we lived down in Monmouth County, down by the Jersey Shore, like View Askew, Jay and Silent Bob, like that area. That's where I lived. A buddy of mine, his parents ran like a grocery store that was next door to the building where View Askew had their offices for a long time down in Red Bank. So I kind of grew up on the Jersey Shore. And then towards the end of my time in high school, we moved to the west side of the state, north of like Princeton, Cherry Hill. If you drove to Hershey Park, you would have driven through the town that I was in, Quakertown, New Jersey, really small town. The nearest bigger town was Clinton, New Jersey. Yeah, pretty rural. Like Clinton, Flemington, those are like the two bigger towns in the area. We got a Walmart when I was in high school. It was a pretty exciting day. People cut school to go to the opening. I didn't cut school that day, but a lot of people did. It was a big deal. And then after I graduated from high school, my parents moved to Bergen County. So my sister graduated from high school in Bergen County. And that's where they live now. So I've kind of had a sample of different parts of New Jersey. Oh, that sunlight came out of nowhere. Oh, it's getting really bright all of a sudden. Ooh. All right, let's do one more and then I got to get going. All right. Lou Boy says, I've owned two pairs of the different speeds, and for some reason they felt really different. One felt a lot more rigid and the other felt bouncier. Wonder if there's defect issues. It could just be like the difference in mileage. So if one had like a lot of miles on them, like you can have the exact same shoe. I mean, even I've never done this, but my hypothesis would be if you bought two shoes at the exact same time, kept one temperature, humidity controlled, like inside a closet in your house, ran 250 to 300 miles in one until it was basically end of life, and then busted out the other one, I think that they would feel like very different shoes, just because there is, degradation in the foam and the resiliency over time, or over miles, not necessarily so much over time. There could be a little bit due to time, but mostly because of the repeat compressions. So that's kind of what I would think. But I do think that there is certainly potential for, I don't know about defects, but like variations. I think it's, even though these are very specific chemical processes that make these foams, I do think that there sometimes are variations. So I think that's possible. That's interesting. All right. That's going to be it for today, guys. Tomorrow, I think there will be a video. I'm not sure what it's going to be about yet. I don't know if it's going to be a workout video or if it's going to be like a run inspiration video. I haven't decided yet, but we'll see. So there'll be something for tomorrow. And then I won't see you guys live stream wise until Monday. So until then, have a really great weekend out there, getting in those long runs and those workouts, and be safe out there, everybody. Thanks.